but it's literally 6 o'clock. This is our first regular council meeting of 2023, so I'd like to go ahead and call the meeting to order. And I'd like to start by asking Councilman Rustin to lead us in our invocation.
Sure, let us pray. Dear God, thank you so much for the opportunity to join you in this meeting, Lord, and for another year. God, I ask you, Lord, just as we get outside of the holiday season, Lord, I ask you, Lord, to speak with the people that maybe lost loved ones during the holidays, God, maybe going through a hard time right now, Lord. I ask you, Lord, to speak with people in the community that have lost loved ones during this time and be with their families. God, I ask you, Lord, just to be with the meeting tonight, be with the things that are discussed, be for the benefit of the city. God, I ask you, Lord, this next year, just let the city thrive and flourish like never before. And Lord, just thank you so much for the opportunity to be here tonight. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. You'll stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'll go ahead and put up the agenda and let everybody take a look at that. And while you're doing that, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Lilly.
Here.
Mizell.
Here.
Rustin.
Here.
King. Here. Phillips.
Here.
Mayor Mitchell.
Here, and we've got everyone present, so we have a quorum. So we'll go ahead and take a look real quick at the agenda for a few more minutes, give everybody an opportunity to take a look at it. Should be a fairly quick meeting tonight. And as usual, the first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the December 20th regular council meeting. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes from the council? Okay, if not, let the record show that the minutes of the December 20th regular council meeting are approved by unanimous consent of the council. And we will start with the department head reports. Chief Howard's not here tonight. He's, is he in the hospital now?
No, he's going to.
So he's going to the hospital. He's going to have some surgery, so we wish him well. And nothing's really changed a lot here, but there is one thing I did want to bring up. As we've talked a lot about, and you're going to see in the mayor's report, I'm going to give a quick rundown of some of the things that happened during 2022, significant things. And you're going to see on those that a whole bunch of that stuff happened with the assistance from various grants. There's been a lot of money available from the federal government, and that's going to continue in 2023. And I got notice of a FEMA grant. We have one FEMA grant for the fire department pending. I'll talk about that later. But there's another one out. It's called Assistance to Firefighters. And I've spoken with the chief and Brett Ashworth, who's the assistant chief. And there is a need for when I spoke to the chief, I said we need to start planning for some equipment replacements, vehicles. In the future. We didn't budget for that this year, but our fleet is getting old, and it will eventually affect our ISO ratings, which could eventually, potentially have an impact on insurance rates for the property owners in Columbiana. So we need to address that issue, and there is a grant that's coming out called Assistance to Firefighters. The funding comes through FEMA. And it looks like that the criteria in that grant that Columbiana would qualify, and it would allow us to fund vehicles. And it's been discussed by the chief and the assistant chief that we have a need for a pumper truck. And it also would potentially fund facility upgrades, not new facilities, but upgrades to existing facilities. So I think that's the only thing for the fire department that we as a council need to look at going forward. We'll talk some more about, get you some more details on the grant that's available. The application for the grant is due somewhere around the middle of February, as I recall. So we have to get cracking on getting that done. But any other questions or comments about that?
Is the pumper truck a smaller?
No, well, they come in all different sizes, actually. So I did not ask, Brett went through this very technical explanation of what we needed and why we needed it and how we would qualify for it. But I didn't get into the size. They come in all different sizes. And because of the nature of our community and our fire department serves, once you get outside the core of Columbiana, some fairly rural areas that don't have fire hydrants, we need that pump truck. And, so it could potentially be a big truck. And the funding doesn't necessarily require that it be a new truck. But those are things we need to think about, because the ISO rating looks at the age of trucks, and ours are starting to get tired.
And the chief talked about that, and it'd be a big tanker truck. We have them in our neighborhood in Kingdom, because we don't have a lot of hydrants, so it'd be able to transfer, haul a lot more water than this pumper trucks will. But that truck would, I mean, he'd spec them out anyway, so he'd probably have a pump on that to also be able to fight fires straight off that tanker.
Right.
But, yeah, that'd be very beneficial to the city.
Okay, any other questions or comments about the fire department? Library.
Okay, I don't know why the staffing is yellow, but we have hired 2 brand new part-time people. Because I have it on my sheet this week. Anyway, but we have hired 2 new part-time people, to take over a shift where one of our employees is coming off of. So we're excited about that. One of them started training last week, the other one will be in tomorrow to start training. So we're really excited to have those 2 people join our staff.
That's great.
Everything else is going well, the traffic is still going, the budget looks good. I do not have the statistics for December because of the holidays, they usually do that the first day we come back, and of course today was that day. Our book sale is still going on, it's still going well. We are now adding some children's books, so for people who have been asking, those are now available. We are making room for new books, and we are ready to jump into this new year and do great things.
Okay. Any questions from the library? Charlene, for making a note, when the slide deck gets completed, ask Francis to send it out to all the department heads so they can look at it and make sure that we actually do have the chart they submitted, or if there's something on there like the staffing being yellow, et cetera, we can address that. Okay. Environmental services.
Pretty much on the stoplight summary, there hadn't really been any changes. We're getting ready for our 2023 training. We actually got one employee going next week. It'll finish up in February, it'll be every Tuesday. We don't really have any issues and concerns at the moment. Highlights and opportunities, Highway 70 projects complete. They're just waiting to finish dry enough so they can get everything cleaned back up and landscaped. And then we started the Goodwin Street project, so they cleaned the video sewer line on that, see where they're going to have to do point repairs and get that line repaired before Allen paves it.
Okay. The Highway 70, is there any erosion prevention that's been done as a result of that?
Yes, I mean, they put straw and grass seed out and the silk fences.
All right.
And they've also replaced some driveway storm drains that were bad when they went by. Because they actually damaged some of those with the track coat. So they went ahead, we had the pipe on site, so we had to repair anything that we broke or damaged.
Okay.
So that should help with some of the flood.
Okay, good. Any questions for Environmental Services.
Dale, I thought about you the other day. Did you have any issues with the freezing out in the plant?
Yeah, my guys did not get too many days off. I
Yeah.
think they ended up with 12 hours OT apiece. So they had to come out, every day was off, when it got down to 12 degrees. Warm water freezes before cold water will, so the warm water dumping on our screening system that removes all the debris, they had to come out and de-ice all that every day, about 10 o'clock.
Tell me, appreciate that.
Yeah. Nobody did any ice fishing out there. Any other questions for Environmental Services? Community Affairs, Senior Services.
Well, things are going pretty well. We have wrapped up Christmas. All the trees in the park will be down by Saturday, so that's the deadline for people to get all of their ornaments off their trees in the park. And then Cowboy Day, we started Cowboy Day, and so Cowboy Day is Saturday, February 25th. So we are working on that. We did about 1,200 meals in December, so part of that time we're off, but we do these little, they're called shelf staples, and they are like little cans of beans and yucky stuff for people. So we did those instead of hot meals during the Christmas break. So that's, but yeah, things are going good. We're marching ahead into the new year. We did have some trouble at Old Mill Square Park. There were some major problems, but I'm sure you'll talk about all of that, the freezing.
Oh, okay.
Christmas, the trees in the park, great success. I enjoyed that as much as the kids did. It was really good. It was a win.
Yeah, I think we had a pretty good turnout,
Mhm.
pretty much every weekend.
Yeah.
And naturally, as we talked about in our last meeting, the Polar Express was a huge success.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions for?
Yeah, I don't know how those trees will be described, Valley, but if you'll find like a local fisherman or group, they'll throw those in.
Actually, I've already
Okay.
found several. So
Awesome.
Shelby County is gonna take some of them, and then, Tiger Hit is gonna take some as well. They live on the lake, and
Yep.
it's a big fishery.
So is the county just gonna take them to the landfill, or are they
No,
gonna?
they take them to
To
the
the
lake and put them strategically around, so.
Okay.
For bass fishing.
They actually GPS them also.
Yep.
And they'll give you the coordinates.
All right, if you're a fisherman, there you go.
Yeah, they're a hot commodity this time of year.
All right,
I only want crappie.
all right. Any other questions? Library Board, did you guys meet?
We did not meet, after our last city council meeting.
Any other boards before I skip?
No, we're not
I
meeting
think
till
with the
next.
holidays.
Yeah, we
there
didn't.
wasn't much
We'll
going
meet
on.
next week.
Any other business anybody needs to bring up before we move on to, Okay, so, this is a resolution to authorize the signing of a memorandum of understanding with, Finder Data Sharing. Finder's an acronym, I forget what it stands for. Jeff, Chief Bowers, would you explain to us what this is?
Yeah, Simply Finder is a data sharing program that allows Columbiana to share anything that's entered through our CAD system, any calls for service, any reports, any suspect information, any vehicle information. This system allows Shelby County, Calera, Montevallo, basically every department in Columbiana is already on this system except for us. And this just simply allows us to share our information with other municipalities and other agencies, and not just in Shelby County, Jefferson County, Chilton County, surrounding counties, and even as far as Florida. And so what this does is it allows us to, I guess, further our investigational reach, if you will. We use a system now that is called Leads Online, and it basically deals strictly with pawn shops and pawn information. This right here allows us to reach a lot further. What our plan is right now we can get the Finder system for a full year for roughly about $700-800 for this year. Next year to go up. What we plan on doing is doing away with the Leads Online system and basically swapping it for this system. But like I said, we're the only municipality left in Shelby County that does not own this system. And so other agencies can't look at our information, and we can't look at theirs. Once we get on this system, we'll be able to look at everybody's. It's just another really good investigational tool to help us stretch out.
With the new software, do you get the pawn shop data in that new
You
software?
can add the pawn shop data at a later date. They haven't done it yet because that requires the finder people contacting these pawn shops. And then pawn shops have to be willing to enter their data. Right now, it's not a required requirement if you pawn something. Hopefully, from what I understand, I don't know if it'll happen this legislative session, but maybe the next, that they might try and put something in law where pawn shops are required to report what they take in.
And I guess the sheriff's department uses this?
Yes, Sheriff's Department uses it. Like I said, we're the only municipality left in Shelby County that does not have this system.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, as I read through it, also, this was developed in the state of Florida.
Yes.
So it has expanded beyond, its use beyond Florida. But you have access to data to anybody who's using the Finder network.
Exactly.
So it wouldn't be just Shelby County.
Yeah,
Although everybody in Shelby County is using it, we would have access to data for anybody in the country that's using that.
Exactly. Yep. Anybody who's on the Finder system will have access to it. And like I said, it's not gonna, it's basically a wash. What we're spending for Leads Online, next year we'll be spending for Finder and not using Leads Online, so.
Any other questions? So one other bit of item of discussion before we consider the resolution. Agenda went out Thursday. I read this actual MOU on Friday morning, which was a holiday, a city holiday. And it read to me like a contract. The MOU says that it's for to approve the police chief to sign it, but if it's a contract obligating the city, then the mayor has to sign it with your approval. So I sent a copy of it to the city attorney, and I said, what do you think? And he agrees, he felt like it was a contract. Chief Bowers and Charlene and I spoke this morning with the city attorney, and so what we can do is we can approve this resolution as is. We don't have to redo the MOU. It doesn't matter that it says memorandum of understanding on the top of it. It's, according to the attorney, it's a contract based upon what's in the document. And so I'll just sign it for the city instead of the chief, and that way we're in compliance with the law as far as the mayor signing contracts obligating the city with the council's approval. So to that end, I move that we adopt resolution 12301 amended for the mayor's signature as opposed to the chief's signature.
A second.
Okay, so would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Lilly,
Yes.
Mizell,
Yes.
Preston,
Yes.
King. Yes. Phillips.
Yes.
Williamson.
Yes. Okay, so resolution 12301 is. Okay, 12302 is a resolution for ABC license for the Provincial Pub. That's so that after council meetings, we'll have a place to go, be right across the street. Sean Ryan's business, who previously operated the local.
You gonna be parked over there?
Pardon?
I was asking Bowers, is he gonna park over there as we go across the street?
Well, you know, the great thing is the police department can keep an eye on it, and they don't have to park the car. They can just walk over there. Anyway,
Walk upstairs.
so, Charlene, any other information that's relevant here? Okay.
Nope.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution to grant an ABC license for the provincial pub.
I make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay. And would you call the roll, please?
Hey, well, it didn't matter. Is this for on-site? Is it on-site?
It is on site,
Okay.
yes.
Yes.
Councilmember Lilly,
Yes.
Mizell,
Yes.
Rustin,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes. Okay, the resolution is passed. Mayor's report. I've talked about this rural economy, recreation economy for rural communities. I can't get the acronym right, save my life. Numerous times, but we do have one more telecom next week, and then the week of the 19th, or the afternoon and evening of the 19th, and all day on the 20th, we have a workshop. We're sending out flyers to people, trying to get maximum participation from the community. We put a flyer in the last water billing mail out. We stuffed it in the envelopes. We're gonna be doing some advertising on Facebook, and we'll be sending out some more flyers to other folks. We're also getting hard stock copies to put in the businesses around town. And the goal here is that we're trying to get people to register to attend these workshops. You know, they don't have to stay for the all-day session, but if they register to come, you know, they can, we'll have an idea how many people are gonna be there and can set up facilities accordingly. So, hopefully we'll get maximum participation on that. So this is 2022 year in review. I'm gonna go through this real quick. Our net position, which is essentially the net worth for the city, increased for the 5th consecutive year. I think if you go back, it has increased more than 5 years, but each year it has been increasing incrementally. We implemented a new garbage pickup process this year. That was good for the city. I think it was good for the residents of the city as well. We didn't get nearly as much pushback on that as we thought we would. In fact, very, very little. And as I've mentioned a couple of times, I get fewer complaints than we did before about the garbage pickup. So that was a benefit. The stormwater study that we funded through the ARPA grant is essentially complete. The engineers are preparing the final report, and they are also, we had a session with the Planning Commission working on some recommendations for some ordinance changes dealing with stormwater runoff for improvements to property and whatnot in the city. The city council or the city put together a team that had myself and 2 members of the council, Councilwoman King and Councilman Phillips, and we participated in the first ever Alabama Economic Development Academy, and that graduation was completed in December, so thanks a lot for everybody's participation in that. We got a park and recreation grant, thanks in large part to Councilman Rustin from Shelby County. That was used for improvements to Kiwanis Park as well as some improvements to the softball fields. And in addition to that, we received a grant, an additional grant from Shelby County for lighting upgrades to the softball field. So it was a significant amount of improvement to the softball fields on Washington. We completed, in addition to the project that Dale briefed earlier, we completed the Highway 25 sewer project. A significant portion of that was funded by a CDBG grant. CDBG is Community Development Block Grant. I couldn't remember the C. I had the D and the B and the G, but I could not remember the C to save my life. Community Development Block Grant. It is actually a federal funds, but the grant is administered by ADECA, which is a state agency. I'm not even going to try to tell you what ADECA stands for. It'd take me a while, but I'd figure it out eventually. Dale already briefed the Highway 70 sewer project, so a lot of significant upgrades there that's going to help the city. The city was also able to provide a grant to Shelby County High School for a weight room upgrade, and I think that's been a great project for them. You may recall DigiHost acquired the property that was formerly Greedy casting operation in the industrial park. DigiHost was a crypto mining company. They plan to have completed and I don't know if they have, the testing of their crypto mining operations in December and actually start their crypto mining. I really don't know what impact this Sam Bankman-Fried FTX crypto business crash is having on this. I did look at the DigiHost stock and it's down like 70% since November. So, but I did read their fourth quarter report and they still seem to be excited about starting their Alabama operations. So that's good. Had a ribbon cutting and opened up PT Solutions on College Street. We got a new bus for the senior center. You know, we had the one bus, but because of issues with the trolley, we were using it primarily as our trolley or shuttle for the town. So we have an additional bus now for the senior center. Talked about the EPA RERC grant. For some reason it's on there twice. I talked about the FEMA SAFER grant, which was to help us to recruit, equip, and train volunteer firefighters. That one's still pending. I actually inquired about it the week before, actually it was last week before we were out for the New Year's break, and we're still in the running. Apparently they're awarding those grants in dribs and drabs, and I was told by the person there at FEMA that if we haven't been told we didn't receive the grant, that we were still in the running for the grant. We transitioned all city employees to Tier 1 retirement system. Public Works, we were able to acquire a new brush truck with the equipment to lift up the brush and whatnot. And I know that a lot of folks were concerned about the fact that the old one was broken all the time and we weren't able to pick things up in a timely fashion. We got 2 new police cars for the police department. And we also got the Department of Justice COPS grant, which allows us to hire and train 2 new additional police officers. These are basically rookies, if you will. And so we send them to Police Academy, and the COPS grant basically funds that. We got the ADEM grant and loan, and again, it's administered by ADEM, the Alabama Department of Environmental Management. I know that acronym for some reason, but it is federal funds, and I think it came from, I'm not sure if it was infrastructure funds or ARPA funds. I believe they were actually ARPA funds. But anyway, so we got a combination grant and loan for about $5.25 million for improvements to the wastewater treatment facility. We've had some issues and we've talked about that, so that was another blessing in disguise as far as grants. We got 2 new certified magistrates for the city, so that's great. At the Shelby County Diamond Awards in December, Columbiana had the Citizen of the Year, which was Lisa Strickland Davis, and Public Servant of the Year, which were co-winners in Allie Payne and Dr. Lewis Brooks, who's Superintendent of the Board of Education. At the end of December, there was, well, it was actually before the end of December. In November, they began the groundbreaking for Second Chance Ranch. You may recall the faith-based retreat, if you will, about 100 acres off of Joinertown Road and Rocky Ridge Road. And then there was a groundbreaking ceremony right before Christmas, I think it was, for Blanket Fort Hope, which is next to Bethel and Cornerstone Christian School. So that is a facility that will provide refuge for victims of child sex trafficking. So we're really grateful to have such a facility. Lots of other things happened. We had lots of wonderful events and activities in the city over the year. But naturally, we like to talk about the successes. There were some disappointments and some heartbreaks as well. On the heartbreak side, we lost 2 police officers in 2022, and Corporal David Orth, and we also recently lost Sergeant Kevin Perry. So their families are still in our thoughts and prayers. And there were a lot of things that we accomplished in 2022, but there were things that we planned to accomplish that we didn't. Most of that is projects like our public works facility and some street paving projects, and so we're going to be working diligently in 2023. Those funds rolled over into our 2023 budget to get those projects done. And so looking forward to a great year in 2023. So any questions for me on anything? Announcements.
All right, so Thursday, Friday, the 19th and 20th is the RERC workshop. Saturday, February 25th is Cowboy Day, and that same day is the Shelby County Cattlemen's Rodeo.
Yeah. Hard to believe the Cowboy Day is already. We're just finishing up Christmas and then we're talking about Cowboy Day. Really gets in a hurry. And that's always a lot of fun too. So hopefully we'll have a lot of fun. Any other questions for Alan on the events or announcements? Don't know why that's going the wrong way. What's happening here? There we go. Any questions or comments from anybody? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
You have a second from now on.
Yeah, everybody just
We're
went
just
down.
gonna-
You are happy.
We're not doing it now.
We're
Sorry.